Who is the best sensei or mentor for Devon Lee? That seems to be a question we're asking ourselves after Season 5, as she was once Eagle Fang but joined Cobra Kai, and as we know in Season 6, will switch to Miyagi Fang. Like Kenny, Devon is another reminder of why having mentors at an early age is so important. This is why Devon needs a strong mentor. Let's talk about her having Tory as a mentor, why she left Eagle Fang, her potential as a fighter, and more. Let's recap on what we know about Devon so far. Feel free to skip ahead to avoid the recap, but be warned, you may miss some important details later on in the video. Due to the 51st All Valley now having separate gender divisions, Devon is recruited by Johnny Lawrence to join Eagle Fang thanks to a suggestion from Bert. She excels quickly and makes it to the quarterfinals, but loses to Tory partially due to the referee being paid off by Terry Silver. Because of the agreement made between Cobra Kai and Miyagi Fang, Devon is without a dojo after Cobra Kai wins and joins Topanga Karate for the time being. She runs into Tory again when Silver buys out Topanga, losing to her this time decisively during a training exercise. Following this, Devon joins Cobra Kai to learn more from Nichols. The two bond when learning to work together under Kim Da-eun's instruction as Devon begins to view Tory as an older sister. After Cobra Kai secures an audition with the Sekai Takai, Lee takes Nichols' place in the fight against Sam LaRusso and loses due to her inexperience despite Silver bribing another ref. As Cobra Kai begins to warp her mind, Devon is angry at Tory when she sides with Miyagi Fang, but later comes to her and Sam's aid when they are attacked by Kim Da-eun. Realizing Silver is a fraud, Devon witnesses his defeat at the hands of Daniel LaRusso. Let's first talk about why Devon left Eagle Fang. Admittedly, this seemed weird at first without knowing the context of why she would switch to Topanga Karate. However, this is expanded upon in a deleted scene from the episode of Downward Spiral. Bert, Mitch, and Devon are seen discussing what they're doing with their summers since Eagle Fang shut down. Mitch says he refuses to go back to Cobra Kai, which is ironic given what he does later in the season, or it could be that he was lying to put on a front. And Devon says she joined Topanga, but dislikes the dojo's philosophy, which also coincides with why she started the argument with Cobra Kai in the final cut of the episode. As mentioned before, this makes sense because both Eagle Fang and Miyagi-Do were forced to close down due to the agreement they had with Cobra Kai since they lost the tournament. It's also interesting to note that when Silver takes over Topanga, Devon still stays in her blue gi. As I talked about in my Why Miguel Diaz Continues to Evolve video, this is a form of symbolism the show typically uses for some characters, as blue is a color typically associated with Miyagi-Do and Daniel as part of the blue Oni trope, symbolizing serenity and control. She isn't corrupted by Cobra Kai's ways just yet, but this changes the longer she stays in the dojo. Another deleted scene after her rematch with Tory shows that Johnny calls out to Devon, who is upset by her loss, but Chosen convinces him that they need a strike now. Lee has some regret over leaving Johnny as she briefly looks at him comforting Hawk before her match with Sam, but then focuses on the task at hand. It's also interesting to note that at this point, she isn't fully corrupted by Cobra Kai just yet, according to the music cue. The song that plays when Sam and Devon fight, called The Better Fighter, has a specific brass music cue from the 30-second mark to the 36-second mark. The quiver motif, which is associated with Johnny's students, plays during this time, hinting at Devon's honor she still possesses. Let's also talk about Lee having Tory as a mentor. Initially, there's some friction as it's clear she dislikes Tory and tells her to keep walking when Tory observes her knife strikes. Devon also took part in the cheater chants at the water park when Hawk was given a flat tube and makes it clear that the referee was in Nichols' favor in their match at the All Valley. However, the two find common ground when they realize both of their mothers struggled with cancer at one point, which unfortunately Devon's mother passed away, likely before the events of Cobra Kai. Tory, similarly to how she told Robbie about channeling his hatred in Season 3, advises Devon to channel that anger into her karate and techniques. It's also worth noting that when Tory demonstrated her knife strike, Devon was impressed but quickly hides it when Nichols looks at her. Lee gets the upper hand in the take the stick exercise at first, rubbing it in Tory's face for payback at the All Valley. However, Nichols quickly gains the upper hand, and despite Devon's persistence, Tory proves that she's capable of defeating her without any dirty tactics. To her surprise, Devon joins Cobra Kai and mentions to the senseis that she wants to continue to study under Tory. In Bad Eggs, Devon tries to get some information about what they're training for from Tory, but the Queen Cobra warns her how dangerous this dojo is and that she shouldn't be here. Because of this, Lee refuses to work together in their leader and follower exercise with Kim Da-eun. She later has a change of heart and wants to listen to Tory's suggestions, as this time the two work together, though Devon is quickly knocked down by Kim, and Tory protects her from being attacked any further this time. Lee is confused about Nichols' decision to defend her, but Tory responds that she wouldn't be a good leader if I did, earning Devon's respect. During Kreese's monologue, Lee continues to learn from Tory with her blocks, and the two also start training for the Sekai Takaya presentation, with the former being excited about the idea of opportunities and sponsorships. Both Devon and Tory help with the presentation, and when Nichols is told that she'll face Sam in the qualifier match, Devon gives her a nod of respect when Silver says, "We'll need our best." However, due to her knowledge of Silver cheating, Tory walks away from the match and Devon is picked to fill in as Sam's opponent. Lee is empathetic and thinks Tory has a good reason, but Kim Da-eun does not care and tells her that she needs to be prepped as the next leader. In a deleted scene from the episode Survivors, which is meant to take place before Robbie visits Cobra Kai, Devon mentions she's on a new training regimen and is curious why Tory bailed, at first shown to be just as angry as Da-eun, foreshadowing the beginning of her being brainwashed by Cobra Kai. When Nichols says it was her mother, Lee then snaps out of it and asks if she is okay. When Robbie visits the dojo, Devon has no problem following Silver's orders and agrees to show no mercy if he or any of his friends step foot into the dojo again. In Head of the Snake, Lee is upset that Tory's with Miyagi Fang, forgetting that she was taken under her wing, and smiles when Mitch is revealed to be part of Cobra Kai. The two almost get into it later on, as Devon almost strikes Tory because she feels lied to, but this never comes to fruition as someone else attacks Nichols. However, she changes her mind when noticing that Kim Da-eun is attacking both Sam and Tory, remembering who really taught her everything she knew, and takes Sam's spot so she can help her brother. The relationship between Devon and Tory is very similar to the arc of Robbie taking Kenny under his wing. The main difference is that, like Miguel, Devon is only corrupted for a short amount of time and ultimately amends her ways. I think she just needed a teacher and guidance because Johnny was no longer around, and thankfully she found one in Tory who was in the middle of her redemption arc. Technically, both Sam and Devon trained together under Johnny at the same time, so it's a little strange that we didn't get to see much interaction between the two outside of their fight in Season 5. However, that would also explain why Sam looks a little surprised when Devon walks onto the mat, hinting that they were at least somewhat friendly when they did train together. I feel like this will change in Season 6, as it's shown that Devon is training with both Sam and Tory, and will learn what she can from both of these strong fighters. Let's talk about Devon's potential as a fighter. From what we know, Devon only trained for 6 weeks before the tournament, roughly the same amount of time Daniel trained for his first All Valley. However, given that short amount of time, she catches on to Johnny's lessons pretty quickly, both verbally and practically. During the tournament itself, she helped Miguel and the other Eagle Fang students come in second place for the skills division in the first round, thanks to her ability to break the boards. In the qualifying match, she also used a technique similar to what Johnny used in the 1984 All Valley to advance to the quarterfinals. In Season 5, we see that Devon still has the same aggression she learned from Johnny and Topanga, and once again quickly picks up Tory's guidance and gets the knife-edge strikes down pat. Although she loses to Tory once again, she doesn't make it easy, even resorting to flying kicks to try to win the exercise. It's worth pointing out that she still needs to work on her low game, as she is knocked off her feet again by Sam, with LaRusso scoring the first point, the same way Tory scored the last point on Devon in the All Valley. Both Tory and Sam also kicked Devon in the midsection in their respective fights, showing that she needs to work on her defense. However, Kim Da-eun in her conversation with Silver points out that Lee still has a lot of potential, and because she is younger, she has less to unlearn. While Devon still has a skill gap in comparison to both Sam and Tory, she is joining Miyagi Fang in Season 6, and I think she can learn a lot from both. Learning Miyagi-Do defense, I predict Devon will be more than capable of at least ranking in the quarterfinals in the Sekai Takaya. We also can't not talk about Devon's similarities to Johnny Lawrence. Lee is brash, hot-headed, and outspoken at times, though the difference is she's smarter and understands the current society norms compared to her sensei. She has a love for martial arts films, notably having binged many movies including the Bloodsport franchise, Delta Force, Billy Jack, The Octagon, Lady Dragon, and Best of the Best as part of her prep work, and uses this to apply it to Johnny's lesson, quickly getting on his good side. Lawrence is definitely a fan of both Chuck Norris and Bloodsport, as he watched Silent Rage and read up on the latter film in Season 2. In the Season 4 episode Bicephaly, Robbie also mentions that Johnny left a VHS copy of that movie at his and his mother's old place. And as we know, both Miyagi Fang and Cobra Kai have a standoff at the drive-in with this movie playing in the background. Johnny likely took her under his wing. As mentioned before, she uses the same technique he used in his first fight in the 1984 All Valley. Despite her loss to Tory, she doesn't give up and wears a headband like her sensei, which is red in color instead of black, and is not quite the same type that Johnny wears. As seen in Season 5, Devon has the same aggression Johnny does and also ends up joining Cobra Kai, only this time training under Silver and not Kreese. However, like Johnny, Devon also ends up leaving Cobra Kai. Here are my final thoughts on Devon and what we can expect to see from her in the future. It's interesting to see a female version of Johnny who is more open-minded and has some traditional smarts that allow her to adapt to situations. Her tenacity is also admirable, honoring the lesson her mother taught her, and I think that's why Johnny had a soft spot for her, as he almost blew his and Chosen's plan to get back at Silver for attacking Daniel. I'm hoping we'll see some interactions as she reunites with Johnny and begins to look up to both Sam and Tory for advice both in life and in martial arts. With Lee on Miyagi Fang's team, I think there's a strong chance for the dojo to bring home the gold for the female division. Unlike Devon, Kenny allowed Cobra Kai to corrupt him fully, and he is seen as what Devon would have ended up like if she fully bought into Cobra Kai.